The various
fake records.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 my duck is bigger than hip hop.
Thank you again for joining us here at The Real Activist. I'm joined here by with my good brother Ric Mathis.
What up?
The director and producer of Black Friday, the film, the Money Book, creator of the Money Book, Black Friday, the remix, Black Friday, the world tour. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the world tour Black Friday concept, because that, to me, with the youth that you have in there, plays into the book and plays into the importance of us introducing economics to our children. You know? But before we even get into all of that, I want you to break down the concept of Black Friday and why you felt to use that movement and that name, Black Friday, as the opening for your film.
Definitely. So my name is Ric Mathis, producer and director of the film series Black Friday. Black Friday really is a solution-based series that deals with how we value a dollar and the importance of leaving a legacy. So the reason why, I chose Black Friday is because, one, it's cool. One, it's the day that we spend the most money. You know what I'm saying? So I knew people would gravitate to it and connect with it, because people love spending money. Black folks love spending money. So when you talk about spending money, you got to go to the day that they spend the most money on, which is Black Friday. Yeah, so then you can say, okay, that's Black Friday. That's when they spend the most money. And it's crazy. And then too, like I talk about in the kids' book, it's the day that when we were enslaved in this country, we were sold for half price. So it's a day that we really shouldn't have nothing to do with, but they have glamorized this day. So I wanted to bring light to that, but I couldn't come out preaching that. That's why, I preached that in volume 3 or volume 2, and along with the kids' money book. Now I can say, okay, I got your attention now. This is what Black Friday came from. Yeah, this is the origination of it. A lot of people, when you look it up, a lot of people say Black Friday started in Philadelphia as a day to shop, and it was discounted prices, which is true. But where did they get it from? They got it from Wall Street, when they would sell our enslaved ancestors on Wall Street for half price, because we was the first stock sold on Wall Street. Right.
You were speaking on, the Black Wall Streets and different things like that. A lot of our people don't know. We had over 200 different Black Wall Streets. And I've even had some elders tell me that it's disrespectful for us to even call it Black Wall Street, because we had something before what they had. They called it Black Wall Street for what you said, for all the different reasons. But I know that when it comes to our economics, we're not controlling things in the way that we should. And I know that you put together some marketplaces so that on Black Friday, we could be more focused on spending actually with Black people.
Exactly.
So if we can change a negative word like what they call the N-word, nigger, into a positive, feel-good word, surely we can turn something like Black Friday and spending all of our money with other people to starting to spend it with each other. So I applaud you for doing that. And how strong is that movement you think is going on now?
Man, I mean, with Black Panther, Black Friday is being more receptive now, because people are starting to feel their blackness, love their blackness, and embrace their blackness. So I appreciate, what those people did, Ryan Kroger and that team, So definitely big ups to you guys. And so it's being more receptive now. People, feeling like they Black and they proud like they were in the 60s. It's a rebirth of that.
That's a good thing. Let me ask you a question about ancestry. Because I know you've gotten your ancestry done. You've gotten tested and been able to be told exactly where you're from. How important was that to you to be able to find that out? And I'm asking that because I've heard some pros and cons on the ancestry, research and history. So how important was it to you, and how do you feel what the connection have done to you?
Well, first off, it's very important for us to at least get a piece of the puzzle of who we are. Now, me taking my DNA test with African ancestry, finding out that I'm from the Akan tribe in Ghana, West Africa, is just one piece of the puzzle. It's not the sum total of who I am, but it's one piece of the puzzle. See, as Black people in America, we're suffering from identity theft. Our identity has been stolen from us. We've been disconnected from our land, our language, and our legacy. You know what I'm saying? And some of us was already here, so the land here we've been disconnected from. So just taking that test, that's only one part of me. Because if you ask the average black person in America how many races they're made of, they're gonna tell you they African, they European, they Indian,
can't leave out the Native
they're
American.
Asian, Native American. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we made up of at least 3 or 4 different races. So me taking that test, that helps me to decrease the gap. You see what I'm saying? And to put another piece into the puzzle and say, okay, this is who I am. Okay, this is another piece of who I am. You see what I'm saying?
See, I was having this conversation with my son. Him and I were talking about mixed race, you know, and I was saying to him how I don't feel as black people we're mixed with anything because you can't mix with the dominant. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if it's darkness, whatever you put into it,
it's still gonna be darkness. That's why we consider black.
Right.
Because whatever you put with black is gonna overpower it. But the thing is the different culture and the different traditions. That's what make up who you are as a being.
As a being. Now, I know in your film Black Friday, the Living Legacy World Tour, I know you went back to Africa, you know, and visited the land and the continent.
Oh yeah.
Tell me your experience, because our people have some misguided ideas about how Africans feel about us. So why don't you talk about your experience?
I mean, my experience, man, you know, just like anywhere, you're going to have some people that glad to see you come back. You're going to have some that be like, oh, why they coming back? You know what I'm saying? But what I experienced over there, I had more of the people that were happy to see us coming back. You know what I'm saying? Because number one, first of all, they think we got money. We're Americans. So they want what's in our pocket, and they want, you know, shoes, they want clothing, you know. So I actually gave away a lot of stuff while I was there. I bought some stuff too, but I gave away shoes, I gave away shirts, I gave away hats, I gave away a lot of different stuff because they, you know, they really identified with it.
Do you see an opportunity for import and export to be set up between Africans on this part of the continent and Africans on the continent because of those different divides that are not there, that are not created, those lanes for them to get the different needs that they need?
I definitely do. It's kind of like this. It's kind of like, you know, you from Chicago. Y'all got okie doke popcorn in Chicago. We got the hot wings down here in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So it's like switching those two things out. Y'all known for popcorn, pizza, you know what I'm saying? Atlanta, they known for hot wings and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, so it's good, like, you know, it's like, yeah, good soul food. So it's like changing those things out. So it's the same way with the U.S. and with Ghana. You know, they have African print. They have things over there, shea butter, you know what I'm saying? Black soap, things like that that we use over here.
Right.
And we have things over here that they admire and they use over there. So yeah, it's definitely a market for it. You just have to know your market and know, you know, what's in demand.
Okay. What was your initial feeling to step on the continent? Because I've been to almost every island in the world, and especially in Central America, but I have not been on the continent yet. And I always tell people, I don't know what my emotional state would be just from being in the environment. Not necessarily even the people, but the environment.
When I went to Ghana, that wasn't my first time on the continent, but that was my first time in West Africa. See what I'm saying? So it's a big difference. So first time I went to the continent, I went to East Africa.
Okay.
Went
Where'd
to
you
Egypt.
go to Nigeria?
Egypt.
Egypt, okay.
Yeah. So first time I went to Egypt. So so man, when I stepped out that plane, man, and then, you know, I'm just like, wow. So, you know, it's not like how here, where you go through the, where they have the little thing attached to the plane and your feet don't touch the ground.
Oh, okay.
So in Ghana, they actually still had an old school ramp where you walk, they pull the old school ramp up with the truck, and you walk down the ramp and your feet hit solid ground and you on the continent of Africa. So when my feet hit Africa, I was like, wow. I say, man, I'm in Africa, so I wanted to take pictures. They was like, no photo, no photo.
Wow.
I'm like, come on, man, this is our first time in Africa, man. What you talking about? No photo. So they don't actually want you to take photos while you're on the tarmac. Oh. You know what I'm saying? But once you get through customs, you know what I'm saying, then you could. Then another lesson that I learned when I got there, you know how we wear fatigues over here. We can wear fatigue shirt, fatigue pants. So over there, I was like, it's Africa. I'm just gonna take mainly fatigues. Get through customs. They like, you military? You military? I said, no, I ain't military. I just, you know, wearing fatigues. Yeah. No fatigue in this country.
Because
only military wear.
What's flashing to us is a sign of war or conflict.
Yeah.
Uniform.
So you gotta be in the military to wear fatigues. So if you're going to Ghana and the West African countries, leave your fatigues in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a suitcase, so he started looking at me crazy. I'm like, look, man, I'm just coming here to come back to the motherland. I ain't coming here for no trouble.
Say for no trouble, huh?
So I ended up giving my clothing too, because at one point he was talking about just leaving them at the airport, you know, and we were gonna be there for 2 weeks. I'm like, man. So, you know, he allowed me to take it with me, but he said, don't wear it while you're here, though. I was like, all right, I ain't gonna wear it while I'm here.
Now, I noticed that in your next film, you know, that was dealing with Africa, you had a young sister do the narration.
Oh, yeah.
And
Kennedy Stewart.
Kennedy Stewart, yes.
Yeah, 11 years old, entrepreneur.
Did the book here with you, Miss Kennedy Stewart. She in the book as well.
Oh, yeah.
When I came to your premiere, met her, amazing young sister. You know, her mom, she comes from good stock, as my grandmother would say.
Oh, yeah, definitely, definitely.
How did you connect with her and start working?
Man, I connect with her. She was at the Speakers Boot Camp, and one of my friends had told me about her. And so I was like, man, yeah, I would love to have a little young girl, because if you remember, in the film Black Friday in part 1, we had a young girl that asked the question, if you die right now, would you leave bills or benefits? So I was using her, but she got kind of camera shy on me, so I couldn't really use her but so much. So, but yeah, when I got Kennedy, I was like, Kennedy is not camera shy.
Not at all.
She ready.
Not at all. Kennedy is ready for the world.
Yeah.
And ready for finances too. She was
exactly
very wise about finances and what to do with investments and with money, and more on a global level, especially for such a young person. How important is it, do you think, for us to make sure our young people understand economics from the root?
Yeah, I mean,
not just, you know, something that they get in school when they learn math and what inspires them to want to learn math, you know? You know, I didn't really love math until I dropped out of high school.
So you start counting some dollars.
You know, I was counting money on the south side of
Like,
Chicago.
oh, okay.
This math and this science is special. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I learned how to, you know, work a triple beam in the science class. You know what I'm saying? But I had a reason to be inspired, and those were negative reasons. But what positive reasons can we use, such as your book and other things, to inspire our children to understand money?
Yeah, well, in the book, man, we talk about Wall Street. Now, not Black Wall Street. We talk about Wall Street in New York City, and how we were the first livestock sold on Wall Street. And how, you know, the proof of the slaves that you own was your bonds of certificate. And that's where the term stocks and bonds come from. So it's based on us. This whole system is based on us. So it's very important. So once you understand that and you see, hey, we was the first stock sold on Wall Street. Those bonds, that was proof of ownership of us. You see what I'm saying? So now you can make a solid connection with money, with wealth, and how wealth was built, how companies that were started back then, New York Life Insurance, Lloyd's Bank, companies like that were started back then, and they're still benefiting and profiting off of that now. You know what I'm saying? Their kids and their grandkids are still benefiting off the enslavement of our ancestors. So then you really see the paradigm of money in America.
You know, it's funny, a lot of people say that's what got Johnny Cochran killed, you know, those who believe he didn't just die, and you know, what people call the conspiracy theorists or whatever. You know, they say that the information he found out about the different companies and digging into those companies that were still, you know, like State Farm Insurance, that were around and were actually making money off of us being dehumanized in this country. You know, like you say, some of those companies are still making money to this day, and their families are still making a lot of money. So I think when you start talking about that and finding those companies, it makes a good case for reparations. Because I've always felt like, you know, I felt that the Dave Chappelle skits kind of hurt the reparations movement too, with the whole jokes.
Because it made it funny.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not a joke. It's not about all of us getting a check. It's about us all getting respect. What our ancestors have put forward and what we still have to put forward as a people. You know, how important do you think reparations plays a part into our economics as a people and getting us to be able to position ourselves better economically?
Well, you know, that's always a tough question for me because number one, with reparations, if I came to your house and I stole your TV, your computer, and all of that.
Your wife, your children.
Yeah, your wife, your children. Then I'm not going to go around the corner and say, all right, Rick, I'm going to cut a deal with you, you know what I'm saying, with your stuff that I just stole. They're going to be like, no, you know, this mine now. You know what I'm saying? You going to take it back? So always, that's one thing. The other point is
you're going to take
reparation,
it back. Let's
reparations,
put emphasis on that though, because that's what's real.
Yeah,
nobody giving you nothing.
Exactly. You have to take it back. Now, do we take it back physically, or do we take it back with saying, okay, because everything, the money still revolves around us anyway. So do we take it back by being consciously aware of our products and what we're producing and own our own stuff? That's why with Black Friday, I own this. You know what I'm saying? I ain't go looking for a deal with Netflix or nobody like that. I'm like, no, I'm gonna own this. You know what I'm saying? Black Panther made over 500 million so far now. They did a $200 million budget, and the rest of that money that's being made is going into Walt Disney's bank account.
How about that?
You see what I'm saying? Right. They don't own none of that. You know, so the people who shot it, the people who directed it, produced it, executive produced it, they don't own that. You see what I'm saying? That's modern day sharecropping is exactly what they did. Because they got 200 million, and now Black Panther's gonna go and make probably 2 billion.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
You look at
so it's modern day sharecropping. So I'd rather own it and make the slow money and say, okay, let me make this slow money and I own this. So if it make $1 million, if it make $1 billion,
it's all in your pocket.
That's going to Ric Mathis Bank.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then I can spread it around with my folks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I can say who I want to empower with millions of dollars.
Yeah.
That's the difference. On
that first film with you, I want your folks, so we're gonna get.
Oh yeah, we got definitely, man.
Make sure I still got a check coming from Ric Mathis.
Yeah, he got a check coming, man. That's on film. That's documented. You know what I'm saying? We still plant seeds. You know what I'm saying? You know this is a 5-year program, so right now we're in year 2, 3. It was released in 2015, so we're going into year 3. You know what I'm saying? So about 5 years, we should have a brand out there that should really be making money and, you know, be able to put other people on and do other things.
Yeah, and I mean, on a serious note too, just when I first spoke with you about this project, when you was talking to me about it, lights went off in my head because I was like, wow. At that time too, you know, the minister was brewing up the conversation about
buying black,
buying black and
circulating
kind of
dollars,
boycotting Christmas and all of that at that particular time and particular holidays that our people spend so much money on. You know, what type of effect do you think protesting and different things like that still have for us? What power does it still have for us as a people to control economics?
Well, when you say protesting, are you talking about marching in the streets, or you're talking about boycotting a product?
Let's talk about both, from both situations.
I think with marching in the streets, I think you just making a lot of tension and wearing your shoes out with that. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is a capitalistic society. So at the end of the day, you got to hit them in the P.
Got it.
Like your boy say, grab them by the P.
Grab them by the P.
But you grab them by the pocket.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You grab them by the pocket, they're going to listen. So if you learn, right now we spend $1.3 trillion. So if you learn how to redirect those dollars and make them feel it, you know what I'm saying? And make them understand that, hey, we do have financial power. With, you know, going to the movies. With Black Panther, I go back to that. You know, $500 million has already been spent almost in less than 1 week on this film. You see what I'm saying? By the end of this week, that'll be over $1 billion film that's been grossed. You see what I'm saying? So that's power right there.
Yeah, I seen that.
You see what I'm saying? So redirect that power back to your people.
Right, because I saw the Regal Theaters reported that it broke all the records in the history of the theaters, you know. So that's very interesting to see the power that we have economically. And
if we come together.
A lot of people criticize and said when the minister called for the boycotts that they didn't have an effect. But I tell people,
no, it did have an effect.
It had a huge effect.
Yeah, it had an
so
effect.
Many Macy's closed down. You have so many different, you know, stores that are in those malls that rely on making money off of us closed down and shut down shop. You know what I mean? Like a lot of stores closed that particular next year.
Yeah, they're gonna say it didn't have an effect because they don't want to continue to do that. They don't want you to continue to redirect your dollars. So they're gonna say, oh, it didn't have an effect, it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? Today you gotta know who's pulling those strings. You know what I'm saying? Who's controlling that? CBS, ABC, NBC that's saying that.
How important do you think it is for us, as you stated, you own your whole...
Man, it's very important. It's very important. I can pass this down to my kids' kids. You see what I'm saying? I can't pass down a job. Ryan Kroger can't pass down Black Panther to his kids. You see what I'm saying? He can give them $1 million, but that $1 million, you're going to spend that. See, the thing about intellectual property is it makes money. You see what I'm saying? It's the root of the money making. So if you have something that makes money, that's like you got a chicken that lay golden eggs. You see what I'm saying? Would you rather have the chicken or would you rather have the eggs that it lay?
How about that?
I'd rather have the chicken. I'll give you an egg. Boom, take that egg. I got the chicken over here.
It's gonna constantly.
You see what I'm saying? It's gonna constantly keep producing those golden eggs.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, that's what you have. Intellectual property is a chicken that lay golden eggs. So now I can take a golden egg, I can give that to this child. I can take a golden egg, give it to this child. Matter of fact, I can go have some more chickens that lay golden eggs and give them a whole chicken.
How about that?
You see what I'm saying? So I can take this chicken right here that lay golden eggs. I can say, here, that's your chicken that lay golden eggs.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
In a position to pass out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. I definitely understand the concept from that. What do you say when people say we need to create our own economic system itself, as far as our own currency and different things like that?
Well, I mean, you got like cryptocurrency, you got the blockchain and all of that, so that's one way, but people still, the powers that be still control that. They still can control that. At the end of the day, it's going back to group economics. It's going back to bartering and trading. You know what I'm saying? The powers that be can't control that. They can't control me saying, okay, you know what I'm saying, you're going to shoot these photos for me and I'm going to do this video for you. You see what I'm saying? They can't control that.
Right.
And they can't tax that. That's why they don't want that to happen.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if you own a farm and, you know what I'm saying, and I own some cattle over here, I could trade some of my meat if I ate meat, but I don't eat meat, with some of your vegetables. You see what I'm saying? They can't tax that. They can't control that. And that's what it's going back to.
Yeah. Do you think cutting out some of the middlemen that have their hands in the pockets, distributors and different things like that? I want to just give you an example. When Prince was separating himself from Warner Brothers, I remember he put out the album with the gold ticket in it. And he put out so much other people money that they actually put it in law now. The FCC
that you can't put nothing,
You can't do that no more. But
see, that's what I'm saying.
Genius.
Yeah.
When it's like you bought the album, you got an automatic ticket to the concert.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it was like he sold out the concerts when he sold out the album.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, that was genius.
That was genius. So.
But then we know when that happened, then they moved the finish line. They say, okay, we got to move the finish line. They just got to the goal line.
The finish line. How do we put ourselves in a position where that finish line can't be moved from us? Because even with this, social media helps to promote your independent business and everything. With neutrality and different things like that coming about, that could be bringing a serious effect to social media, internet. How much of an impact do you think that'll be playing on the economic? Man,
I mean, with neutrality, with slowing down the internet, I mean, it's definitely gonna have an effect. So now the ones who have the power and have the wherewithal, they're gonna be in control of how fast that bandwidth comes for videos like this. You know what I'm saying? So that's really all it's for, video content. You see what I'm saying?
It's like when we moved to Mark, remember in hip hop when we used to pump things out of our trunk?
Yeah.
We went from our trunk to social media. It was like when they saw that, now it's like, now let's move.
Yeah, because they got home court advantage right now. You know what I'm saying? When you have home court advantage, you can do that. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's up to us to group together. Our biggest thing is coming together as a group and doing things. Business is a team sport. You see what I'm saying? So you got to work as a team. So we got to start learning how to trust each other and learn how to work as a team. Even if, y'all might see the thing about black people, they want to be bosom pals in order to work together. Where you have Jews and you have other races, they can care less about you. If we can come together and get this bread, we're going to come together and get this bread. I might not be able to stand you tomorrow, but we done got a check together. You go take your check, your part of the check, I go take mine, and we good.
That's what I always say. We need a common agenda to be able to build on, because I think this liking thing that we have this likability factor. Like, it's like, I don't like that person. And I always tell people, there's so many people I don't like. Just do business, man. Just do business. Separate your emotions. We too emotional as black people. That's what David Mann always say. We too emotional. You know what I'm saying? So we got to stop being, so emotional. You know what I'm saying? One of the things Elijah Muhammad taught us, one of the main things he said we have to do as a people was rise above emotion.
Yeah, exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
When you rise above your emotion, I've been listening to Reverend Knight. I know you like Reverend Knight.
I love me
you know
Reverend
what I'm saying?
Brother. I don't care what nobody.
So Reverend Knight take this thing from a whole metaphysical standpoint. So for example, what he says was, control your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. If you controlling your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, then you're going to put all of that in check. And when your emotions, you say, okay, I don't have no money in the bank, that's what your emotional is telling you, that, oh, get frantic. That's an emotional response. Okay, but if you say, okay, I don't have no money in the bank now, but I know within me I can create whatever I need.
I can produce that.
So I can think about it and I can attract that in my life. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we have to do, mind over matter. Your mind controls the matter. Your mind has to master the matter, which is your body. So when your mind masters that, then it can project and you can speak to life whatever you want to happen, whatever you want to exist. That's what I've been doing the whole time with Black Friday. Speaking this into existence.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, you know, when I first started, it was an idea. But I gave energy and light to that idea and spoke that idea into existence. You know what I'm saying?
What's the next mission for Black Friday? What's the next direction?
Man, the next thing is more so solutions. That's why we're doing this Kids Money book, because now we're going into workshops, we're going into curriculums, so we can actually have some tangible things that people can actually chew on. You know what I'm saying? Because you need tangible things. Black folks is now, you know, show me what have you done for me lately.
Right.
You know, that's how we operate. If you can't show me nothing, then, you know, they on to the next. You know what I mean? So it's about showing some tangible results.
Okay. Definitely. Well, I definitely thank you for joining me here on The Real Activist. I think that the last thing I want to ask you about, and I'll end on this note with this question, how important is it for us to create these platforms and employ each other?
Man, if we all we got, if we don't employ each other, then who will? You know what I'm saying? And think about this right here. When, you know, we have to rearrange the thoughts and how we speak things and say things. One of the things that Reverend Ike says is stop saying that you're spending money. Start saying that you're investing money. When you say you invest in money, you expect a return. When you say you spending money, you don't expect a return. You see what I'm saying? So you investing in your light bill. You're expecting a return to come back. You see what I'm saying? You're investing in yourself. You're expecting a return to come back. You're investing in Black Friday. You're expecting a return to come back. So that's what you're telling the universe, and that's what the universe is going to respond to.
All right. My brother Ric Mathis, I'm telling you, I'm inspired to go out here and get that money right now. So we're going to stop talking so much and get to it and get to some.
It's time, baby. It's time.
Hey,
thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Most definitely.
All right, definitely.
Most definitely.
My name is Ric Mathis, producer and director and author of the Kids Money book, and I'm a real activist.
DP's got that crazy shit. We keep it crunk up. John blazing shit. 1 2 1 2. DP's got that crazy shit. We keep it crunk up. John blazing.
Thank you for joining us here again at The Real Activist. We're sitting here with our dear brother Antoine Orr, who is the author of Inside the Huddle, Don't Plan Your Future Without It, and also the creator of the website stop401k.com. He's going to join us here and continue to speak about the series Black Friday with Ric Mathis, and just continue to speak about economics for our people and the direction we should go. Talk to me a little bit about Stop 401k. I got to get right to that. Get right into it.
Well, thank you, my brother. Listen, you know, 401ks are something that we've all been taught to put our money in for retirement.
Correct.
And the data is now in showing that we're likely to get back less than what we put in, number one. Number two, the fees inside the plan can be greater than the employer match. Okay. Number three, if the interest rate on your debt is greater than the rate of return that you're earning in your 401k, you should pay down your debt first, okay? And then after that, here's the big one. We may not know that we are financing some of the things that are against our best interest. We might be, for instance, financing private penitentiaries, exactly. The NRA, the prison industrial complex,
pharmaceutical companies,
a number of them, and don't even know it. So while we may be against them on one hand, we're using our money to finance those various things. And so what I do is I help scrub your portfolio of those particular investments to find out if you are in fact using your money to finance those things that you're against. And then lastly, taxes. You know, on the back end, you're going to pay a lot of taxes to get that money out. So there are other alternatives to save money for than the 401k. And, you know, to be quite honest, it was never really designed for the rank and file. It was something that was designed for corporate executives. And then they passed it down to the rest of us when corporations could figure out that they could get rid of pension plans and transfer the risk of retirement to the employee.
Wow.
So that's why you don't see pension plans anymore.
Yeah, and see, that's important that you talk about that, because a lot of people don't understand the destruction of Detroit. You
Yes.
It wasn't the loss of Motown.
Right. Right.
It was really, you know, all those African Americans who went up north to work in those particular factories and had generational wealth invested in those companies.
Yes.
When those companies folded and shut down, the first thing to go was the pension plan.
Exactly.
The city took all of that from the people, and then when the cities became extremely poor and poverty rose, people pointed the finger at the people and said, look at the people.
Yeah.
Look at Detroit. People in Detroit don't know how to do A, B, and C. People in Detroit did not destroy their economic system, and they did not poison their own water.
That's correct.
So talk to us a little bit about what we can start putting together as programs as a people to make sure that our economics and our finances are protected.
The very, very first thing I think that we can do is start pooling our resources together. Okay, spending our money in our own community and paying attention to how our dollar is spent, knowing where our dollar is actually going, getting involved in politics, getting involved in at the local level, because that's really where the policies affect us the most. Oftentimes we get involved in the politics only when there's a national election, as opposed to the local election.
Right.
And it's really the local elections that we need to be involved in. So that's really where we need to start. We need to become much more active in our local elections.
I always say to people, you know, some of the people we complain about, the judges and different things like that, those are elected officials.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, people will say, why we need to be so into politics? It's like, we elect these people, the police chief, we elect those people into office. Their job is dependent on how we feel as a community.
Exactly.
And as a people towards them.
Exactly.
So that's why I think we should look at politics from that standpoint.
Yes.
Let me ask you, is there a benefit for us as a people to create things like a hedge fund or something like that that's directed towards us and what it is we're about?
Yeah, absolutely. And whether it be a hedge fund or whether it be a mutual fund or whether it be individual stocks of a corporation, the key first and foremost for us is to learn how to create our own family banking system. Each household learn how to create their own family banking system. That is the key. Once that is in place, then we can branch out. What I mean by family banking system is this. We all know we're going to have to borrow money, whether it be for the house, the car, sending a child to school,
College, yes.
the house repairs, the roof repairs, whatever. We're borrowing the money. And what do? We either take the money out of our personal savings and deplete that, which is not good. We take out a home equity line of credit, can do that. We could borrow from our 401k, not good. We could borrow from family and friends, but if we want to keep our family and friends, we probably shouldn't do that.
That's the second book is one of those friends. The first book is actually to help you move.
Okay, that's exactly. Okay, so why not create your own personal family bank? And it's a system that was used by Ray Kroc, Walt Disney, J.C. Penney. This is how they built their fortunes. This is how they started. So I help you create that same system. If we can do that, should I say, when we do that, then that's when we will be able to start to really rise and have the political power that we need. Because, as you know, all of the other ethnic groups out there, the reason why Washington pays attention to them is because they have what? Money.
Money, yeah.
Money talks and everything else walks, right? So we have to have the money. And when we don't have the money, they tell us to do what? March.
Yeah.
That's why we march. We don't have the money. But if we have the money, and this is what people don't understand, corporate America does not want their capital interrupted. They don't want to interrupt it. So what they listen to is their consumers. If the consumers start voting with their pocketbook, trust me, corporate America will pay attention because they want to keep those profits flowing. They don't want to interrupt it. So marching, that was great for back in the day, but now it's all about the money. If you have the money, your politicians will listen.
Yes, I definitely agree with you on that. If you have the money, that's the way to actually control politicians. I always tell people, you'll never see the Asian community, the Jewish community talking about get out the vote and sign people up to vote, because they only come out to vote when it's beneficial for them as a whole, as a group.
Yes.
Then that's the reason they come out as a group. Like, people will say, we won't unite as a people. And I say, we always unite when there's a reason for us to unite.
Exactly.
I mean, when you look at President Obama, whether you like his politics or not, you're talking about 90% of black people.
We united.
This man.
Exactly.
That was unity. There's never in the history of this country any party or any president has ever gotten that much support from one group of people.
Yeah.
You're talking about 90%.
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's like, that's a large percentage of us actually uniting. So
we did.
People say we not unified. I said, well, yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
You know, unfortunately, there are more foolish things for us to unite behind than there are positive things. We definitely know how to unify as a people. Let me talk to you about that unity. Let's go back to, like, the concept of a susu,
Okay.
where we would all collectively,
Yes.
for those who don't know, collectively put in money into a pot, and then each month or
It's a
however
Caribbean thing.
Yeah, each time, exactly. Each time we decided to, a time frame as to when we're going to pass that money out to a particular individual, it passes along to each person, and then you invest back into the susu. How important for us as a people to get back to things like that?
Great question. My wife and I were just talking about that last week, about how we need to start going back to that. We just have to. We have to go back to our roots. We have to go back to our roots. We know intuitively what we need to do to be successful. The problem is we look across the pond to see what the other folks are doing and try to follow them. That's where we make the mistake. We have been given the God-given ability to know how to do the best at handling money, buildings, handling politics, teaching our children. Think about this. Our school systems, when we were segregated, okay? When we were segregated.
Before integration.
Okay, before integration. Look at all of the luminaries that came out of our system that we had back then. The scholars, left and right.
How about that?
And then when we integrated, guess what happened? We came down. Why? Because we didn't have people like us teaching us.
How about that?
Okay? That was the problem. So going forward, if we want to really become the people that we're designed to be the best that we can be, to be respected, to have the seat at the table, then the only way it's going to happen is if we show the people that we deserve to be there. And that starts with us taking care of us. So we have teachers who have retired. Okay, why don't we go back and start doing what a lot of the Jews do? They have schools just for Jewish children. Why can't we do the same thing?
Exactly.
We have these teachers who are no longer teaching. Guess what? A retired teacher, have 5 or 6 students. The families pay this teacher the salary they would make if they were teaching. And guess what? You start doing that in communities all over this country, and all of a sudden, 10, 15, 20 years from now we have these great minds who are popping up left and right. And here's how I liken it, what I like to liken it to. Remember when Obama came online, and we were seeing all these political commentators come on television, and all of a sudden, we saw all these black commentators
pop up.
Pop up. I'm like, who's this? Who is that? And they were knowledgeable. I mean, they were like,
where'd they come from? Now all of a sudden we got black ones who know all this
information. But they didn't take a crash course on this because they knew this stuff.
Yeah.
So where were they? They were held behind the curtains until
no outlet to be able to
no outlet.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that we have the ability to train our children in such a way that when they step out, the light will shine. But right now, the light's not shining because there's really no one there for them to look up to and to teach them how they want to be taught, how they need to be taught, who understand their background, their issues, their likes, their dislikes, their pains, their sorrows, their joys, their aspirations. It's just not there. Yeah. All they have is a book to read, and they learn to a test, and that's it. That's not good.
I definitely agree with you. I know here in Atlanta there are a lot of African-centered schools here in Atlanta, and Dr. Hannibal, who was considered the father of African-centered schools, he always spoke about how it just can't be a black school. It has to be an African-centered school with an African-centered curriculum.
Yeah.
Because when you go back to the root of what we're learning in Africa, from mathematics to science,
yes.
go back to the root of that.
Yes.
That's what the world right now is thriving off of.
Absolutely.
They have built their entire society off of everything from our voodoo to our science.
Yes.
You know what I mean? To
yes.
our strength, to our intelligence. They built everything around that. How do we as a people grab that back and use it for ourselves in the financial?
That's the $64 million question. And it really boils down to us making a decision, the D word. We have to decide, household by household, that this is what we're going to do. And here's what we have to think about. When you're looking at money, major corporations have a timeline or a time horizon for which they want to have a project. So they say, well, we have a long-term projection. Do you know how long-term is for them? 100 years.
100 years, yes, 100 years.
100 years. We, for us, long term is 6 months. We have to see something right now. So if we start a system, because this is what it's all about, is a system. If we create a system that is passed down from generation to generation, then 100 years from now, we will be in a completely different place.
Turn it around that fast, because when you think about what we've come from as a people, my teacher, Mr. James Muhammad, used to tell me that we measure progress improperly as a people because we look at progress like this, where it's jumps and hurdles.
Right.
When you look at something that measures any type of progress, any type of mathematical thing that measures it, it moves like that.
Slow increments.
Very slow increments.
Yes.
You know, but we're looking for big jumps.
Big jumps,
stop
yeah.
Progress.
Yeah.
But if you look at the progress we've made as a people within just the last 100 years,
Yes.
and what we've been able to do. See, we were teaching our own children, teaching them from that standpoint,
Yes.
versus thinking that slavery is something that, you know, you should be feeling bad about.
Right.
You know, you in these jungles and all this foolishness that they try to teach us in school, or teaching us that somebody else freed us when they didn't. If we were able to teach those things to our children from that perspective, they would see that there is nothing that could break us as a people.
Exactly.
We have been through everything as a people on this side of the continent, on the continent. Nothing has broken us. We are still here in 2018.
As Maya Angelou would say, and still we rise. Huh?
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much
for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Most definitely. And I hope that in the future we can get even longer,
Yes.
and extensive with what it is we're talking about.
I'd love to. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Very good.
Antoine Orr, and I am a real activist.